These cranberry beans have been drying for a couple of days on a sheet in our spare bedroom. You hear how dry they are? These are going to be super, super easy to shell. So I'm clearing the sheet, ready for another batch of cranberry beans to finish drying. So I have about this much more, or probably about twice as much that's ready to pick now. You see all that dirt? Now you know why. Pretty essential to put down an old sheet to protect your carpet or your floor.
All I have needs, I have not provided.
This is my second picking of cranberry beans. It is still kind of damp this morning, but I need to go ahead and get them because they are starting to get damaged. So they will start to mold. See here on the end of this one, right here. So it's just too wet here in Central Florida. It's the end of May. We are starting to get some rain, and I do run overhead sprinklers, so that doesn't really help them to dry as much as I would like them to. So it's okay to pick them when they still have a little bit of color to them. So what I do is I spread them out on a sheet in my spare bedroom, and I let them dry completely for two reasons. They're so much easier to shell when they've been completely dried out, and I want the seeds that are inside to actually grow more beans. So I'm either going to cook them or I'm going to save some for seeds for the next time I grow these. And here in my zone 10A, and also my climate is considered subtropical, I can grow these again in the fall. They grow quickly, they mature quickly, and I've never had them be subject to the frost or freeze. They're always done before that happens. So I do have some that are still maturing on the plants. When your plants look like this, you might as well pick them all, because if you don't, then they are susceptible to starting to rot. I love cranberry beans because they're so easy to grow. I just plant them and let them grow and then die and pick the beans. And I love cranberry beans as an addition to soups. It adds a little bit of protein to your soup. I'm thinking vegetable soup instead of ground beef or stew. You use beans instead. I have one of my favorite recipes is a cabbage soup. It's basically vegetable soup but made with cabbage. And again, I will use these beans as a substitute. So if I'm using them dried, I'll cook them for about 30 minutes before I add all the rest of the vegetables. And that way they'll all get done at the same time. The beans cook up to be a very soft bean, and that's another reason why I love it. And you can use them for all kinds of different recipes. Even if you want to make refried beans with them, just add the spices that you normally would for refried beans. When you hear them rattle around on the inside, they're done. So those beans were picked about a week ago now, and this is the result from 2 pickings out of that one bed. Now you see a lot of these are dark, and I really don't want to pass that trait on to the next bunch of beans that I grow. So I separated out the light colored ones from the dark colored. And there's a few red ones that I think are really pretty. I want that trait to be passed on to the future generations of cranberry beans that I grow in my garden. So this is about the 4th generation of cranberry beans that I've grown. So what I mean by 4th generation is I started out with some cranberry beans from the grocery store, and I planted those. Then when those matured and I picked them, then the result here is 1st generation. Then when I plant these, those grow up, I pick the beans from them, that's the 2nd generation, and so on. So I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and I just love growing these beans because they're so easy. And here in Central Florida, I have 2 seasons I can grow them in. And I have already decided that next year in the spring, I'm going to be growing at least 2 beds of these, because this is not going to last me until the fall. So maybe some dark ones are tiger eye. I don't think so, but maybe. At any rate, now they're all a beautiful cranberry bean, and I hope to continue that trait throughout the next generation. Another bean that I grow for dried beans is Cherokee Trail of Tears. They are nowhere near ready to harvest, and they'll continue to grow through the summer, which is another reason why I love them. They make a black bean, very similar. The shape is kind of like a kidney bean, but the taste is very similar to black beans, and they're just prolific. Thanks for watching. I hope I've inspired you to grow some cranberry beans. Another bean that does well that's very similar is tiger eye beans. Either one, they do great. So thanks for watching. Please give it a green thumbs up. It really does help. And go ahead and subscribe and turn on all your bell notifications, because I do post almost every single week.